granted a global miner an environmental clearance for its $5.9 billion Tampakan copper-gold project, touted to be the Philippines' single biggest foreign direct investment.
Our world is currently facing a lot of environmental problems: melting of ice, increased air pollution, degrading marine ecosystem, wildfires, and deforestation. Scientists have projected that we only have 4 to 5 years to take urgent action to address the worsening climate crisis that we have been experiencing. Even if the fiasco had intensified the call on climate justice, it only lasted for barely a week. In the Philippines, we are experiencing the effect of climate change brought by these environmental crises. The month of May, which used to be our summer season, in a blink of an eye, has welcomed us to our country's wet season. Amid this cynical situation, the country keeps on disappointing its people by lifting the ban on Tampakan open-pit mining. This mining project puts local water supply to communities and for agricultural livelihood in grave danger. Locally, the Tampakan project is touted as the largest undeveloped copper-gold minefield in Southeast Asia and among the biggest of its kind in the world. It has the potential to yield an average of 375,000 metric tons of copper and 360,000 ounces of gold in the expected 70-year life of the mine. The Tampakan project will affect the biodiversity and territorial integrity of the Blaans Ancestral Domain that may lead to the demise of its culture and indigenous way of life. The $5.9 billion project has faced decades of opposition from tribal communities and local Catholic churches due to concern about the environment and the displacement of communities. Around 5,000 people would have to be relocated, keeping them away from the forest, a source of food, medicine, and their spiritual ground.
Taon 1968, ada kami ditoy. Ket ditoy karayan, ket pagbiit kami nga panaglamis, ada maalaming ngalamis. Angin idi garud in may ditoy panagminas ditoy yan ni. Ket awanin. Awan pulusti ulay may sakit, awan pulusti rames nga nabatbati. Dakar unay sir ti panag-epekton na ito'y minas. Nang nangruna na ito'y nga danom. Kasara na ito'y nga danom, idikit ang kami nga maawanan ti danom. Ngim tatakit pirmi nga uray jay jay dati nga mataltalon ijay ayan mi kataanin nga natalon. Gapu nga ron iti na naawanan ti danom gapu iti daytoy nga panagminas.
In an article published by the Mongga Bay, legislators in the southern Philippine province of South Cotabato moved this week to overturn a 12-year-old provincial ban on open mining that has for years stalled the development of a $5.9 billion copper and gold mine. The May 16 decision to lift the ban came 5 months after the Department of Environment and Natural Resources, or DENR, rescinded a nationwide prohibition on open-pit mining put in place in 2017.
Then the only way to get the minerals in this country is open pit, which is going to put at risk our people's lives, and don't do it. Because our people's lives are more important than the money you want to make. Mining is not a right, it's a privilege. In manifesting that privilege, you cannot adversely affect our right, the Filipino right to a clean and healthy environment. It's our right. That supersedes any amount of money that you want to make. If you can't find a way to make money that doesn't disadvantage our rivers and streams, then don't do it. But open pit mining kills the water table, and open pit mining all are near our rivers and streams, and open pit mining, that's copper, gold, silver, what do you call this, are pits that will be there forever, just ko naman, forever. So if you can't find a way, then don't do it.
Sagittarius Mines Incorporation, or SMI, operator of the Tampakan project, has long pushed for the removal of the prohibition on open pit mining, which it says is the most viable method to extract the massive deposits in its tenement. It has vowed to conduct responsible mining for the venture. For years, indigenous communities, who are the traditional owners of the mining concession, were at the center of campaigns to resist the mine.
We don't believe that best practice and minimum standards on international standards is good enough. There has to be more ambitious, there has to be more robust ways for us to promote and measure and hold government and mining companies accountable if they're actually doing responsible mining. I think that's the minimum we can do in the time of climate change.
A risk mapping assessment by the World Resources Institute and the Jesuit Institute of Environmental Science for Social Change, or ESSC, found that the Tampakan mine project requires the clearance of 3,935 hectares of forest, which would significantly impact the local ecosystem, including risks to endangered floral and fauna species. The saddest tragedy hitting the province is that only 11 people decided for the fate of almost 1 million people of South Cotabato, not counting the future generations. With all these, where will you stand? With the environment or economy? Everything starts with us. We must use our voices to collectively block these people's decision that would make us, especially the people in Tampakan, more vulnerable to the adverse effects of the environmental problem. The Goal 15 of the United Nations is to protect, restore, and promote the sustainable use of terrestrial ecosystems, manage forests sustainably, prevent desertification, stop and reverse land degradation and biodiversity loss. With that question in mind, where will we stand?